Hello, it's me, Anya, and I'm doing a bit of just tuning in with colour and looking at myself in the mirror here actually, and just kind of using both hands as a and all these colours that I got from my friend Sharon as a way of just getting a little bit of time with myself really, and considering what colours are wanting to be chosen here, and what colours best express what's wanting to be expressed. And there's no need for the middleman deciding it really. That's what I really like about this kind of process, is that there's no need for figuring anything out. Just reach for the colour that your hand wants to go to really, and then decide where to put it. I have this yellow painting on my bedroom wall. It really sustains me, this yellow painting. I made it last year in March month, when I felt like I was completely failing really to make the most of the residency opportunity that I had there. I felt I was failing because I felt I was doing nothing new, or I wasn't, the whole thing, getting it wrong, not doing enough, needing to be different somehow. And looking back, I guess, whatever, and I could use this for my life generally as a kind of a lesson, to just let it alone, And looking back, it felt like all the things that happened for me there, well, I might have been judging myself at the time, needed to happen. The different work that I made, and not making anything, and being just in the landscape, and getting in the water and into the root ball, the big roots of the old trees that had been felled in the storms. All of that was what I needed to do then. And a fair bit of crying too, I can tell you. That was last February. But this one day I had been in there was very shallow ponds, but I could still manage to get in, and have just a float around. There was a little island on one of them. And I would do that some mornings. And this one morning I did have a float in the water. And there's something about the extended arms in the sun, and the merging of my body with the land, That was the purpose, I think, of that February, that month last year, was this sense of merging. Anyway, I went into the studio after it. I had this massive studio down there. It used to be a squash court, so it's really big, and I had been looking forward to what would happen in this big studio. And what did happen that day was that I got down on the floor with a big sheet of paper, and I let myself use whatever colours came to me. But that time I had paint, and I had divided all my paint into colours, so I had all the acrylics, and different inks. And I mean, for the yellows now, for example, for my yellow painting, I think I may have had like 10 or 11 yellows to choose from. I reckon I used them all. Excuse me. And that yellow painting is actually on a video as well. There's a video posted last February, if you want to have a look at it. So that's the painting that hangs on my bedroom wall now. And what I did was I got low to the ground, and instead of trying to make a picture, I just chose whatever colours I felt drawn to. And that morning it was yellow, so then I just chose the yellows that I felt drawn to. So it was like a step at a time. And I don't think I used brushes. It was mostly just my hands or some rags that I had bought down. Yeah, because I remember Lily had decided to leave school, and I had all her old school shirts. And I torn them up and used them for rags. And I remember the sense of my hands knowing what to do and my belly knowing what to do, and almost it being like a memory of that floating on the water. The painting was a memory of that light that kind of broke open my chest. And what it was in the yellow painting, that sensation was best explained with my hands just lifting the yellow off in a circle, so that what it represented for me was this bolt of brightness in my heart. But it was like also the sun, that kind of iridescence, like the sun that you can't find a word to explain it. You know how bright it is on those days. And it was strange because that day was a dull day. It wasn't yellow, you know. The feeling was yellow. In the water, the feeling was yellow. And I suppose I would say joy as well, that sense of, well, you know, David Whyte's poetry, he said something like about the heart, he's filled to the gleaming brim. And I felt that day my heart was filled to the gleaming brim. Or Seamus Heaney's one too. I wrote these down yesterday. And I've got Lem Sisay's book as well, about letting the light pour in. Feels like it's all about that kind of thing, you know. But what was I going to say? Seamus Heaney catches the heart off guard and blows it open. It's that sense of the heart being surprised by joy, I suppose, as well as not known. But the heart being caught off guard. I love that. And blown open. And there's something in it that meant, I think it also contained within it this sense of grief and fragility and vulnerability and the whole kind of orchestra of life, you know, all of it. And it was only with all of it was that bright yellow performance possible, really. Felt a bit like a performance, that painting. I needed to move my body, and my hands needed to be the things that were touch and colour. It's a good thing to use colour, you know. See if you can get yourself a little pack even of simple felt tips. Like I've got these as well. Any kind of felt tips or anything that makes the mark. Of course, crayons are good too. And it is a good idea, I think, to get low to the ground. And today, I wasn't drawn to that actually. Today I was just, oh, here's a glitter one. Look at that. Today, what I wanted was modest, kind of sitting down, something modest about it. No big proclamations, but just sitting, making something happen on paper. Something that might come close to touching the kind of the life that's, I don't know, touching something of the feelings that are happening in me these days, or this moment, really. Look at that cold. So there's quite a lot, isn't there, at the moment? There's quite a lot of things going on. I've been listening to Kay Tempest and reading their words, and also Rick Rubin's book, The Creative Act, and Jane Goodall. I've been listening and the Sky Arts Portrait Artist of the Year. Beautiful final episode. Well, the one where the finalist painted Jane Goodall. And just listening to her wisdom around the planet and about children. And she spoke about we can, we will. And she said we must, make these changes. We must. We can, we will, and we must. And then yesterday, I just feel like there's a lot of voices coming in, various voices coming in. Do you ever get that in your life where sometimes just things come together and it feels like there's a lot of there's that sense of support somehow. People who just have, I don't know, yeah, just this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful human beings. And then Dolly Parton, her prayer was, about financial abundance was some to share and some to spare. And she's got these amazing programs for literacy for children. And people do fantastic things, And then there's Donna Ashworth's poems, and she speaks about most people are good. There's a lovely poem, most people are good. All of these, just find that there's heartening things to be found in the wilderness of pain. Sometimes heartening things, and maybe not the wilderness of pain, but just the kind of struggly tangles of living. This the voices that know about it. And like Mary Oliver says, pay attention, be astonished, tell about it. In her rules for living a life. I'm not happy with all that carry on underneath. I don't want it to be all separate like that, those bits. Excuse me, my goodness. And it's kind of interesting too, anchoring these marks on my own face. Like every so often looking up and finding a shadow, a wrinkle, a dip, or some dry skin. And placing down the evidence of my own living that's come through my face. But away from words, the best thing is the colour, really. We're going out soon. It seems to have stopped raining, but it was raining quite heavily there. Which sometimes I find really welcoming. I love sometimes walking in the rain and the trees, and got these great New Wellingtons, which are really comfy. Stood in the stream with them yesterday, trying to wash Maisie because she had found a muddy puddle and just dived into it. I didn't have much success washing Maisie, but I really enjoyed standing in the water myself. It's interesting to me that there's like paths on our faces and in our systems, like in our bodies, our physical bodies that contain the evidence of our living, kind of, and in the drawings, the marks contain at the end, like there's evidence of the finding lines or something. In the end result, you've got marks that are obliterated and ones that are enhanced, and there's that kind of trial and error of drawing, and also trial and error of living that leaves its mark too. And I guess there's nobody without them. Today I've got the house to myself. I didn't realise the 2 guards were going to be working. And also, which is a good thing, Aaron's got the car. And it means that I don't have the option of heading to the shops or something like that, which might have been a kind of a pull. So instead I've got this, and then I wander. I was at the Free Company last night for dinner. If you don't know about it, you could look it up. Inspiring, creative, powerful stuff that they're doing there. It's really amazing. Free Company, Edinburgh, Sustainable Farm. And they have these banquet meals. And Friday and Saturday night, they've got their last 2 before Christmas. And you can make a donation for the meal. I mean, it's top class stuff, so I recommend a donation of, a fairly decent amount. Like, it's not that you can just pay a couple of pounds or something. It's, it's stunning, really. The whole thing is amazing. I'd really highly recommend that. I met these lovely people there. And partly it was nerve-wracking too, because I decided I like doing things on my own sometimes. I decided to go on my own, thinking that it's a banquet, that there'll be people sitting maybe on their own as well. I did that before at Jupiter Artland, and there was others. There was one other person who had gone on her own. Last night I don't think there was anybody else on their own, and so one of the waitresses suggested that I sit with her friends. A group of 5 young people. They were wonderful. It was such a lovely evening. They were so kind to let me join their gang. We had great old chat. I wasn't without my insecurities around that. Like, I felt like, oh, am I invading their space now? Really, they're just being polite, and all of that carry on started coming in every so often. But it didn't overtake me, and in the end, I really enjoyed it. And then I came home, and Erin had her pals around still, which is really nice. Love to have people around. So I had hot chocolates and chat with them. It was about 4 a.m. because I watched the Strictly final then. Before I went to bed, it was about 4 a.m. Imagine. I think I'm mumbling so much that it must be deeply irritating. And I can only apologize for that now, and must try harder. Must try harder. How about that orange? The people I was sitting with were called Ali and Maria and Rachel, I think. And I can't remember the names of the other two. Lovely, lovely people, all of them. And then there was Charlie, who is one of the two brothers who run the whole place. And he stood and gave a talk about the way that they farm and how they manage everything. They don't, they buy anything in. And they've got like livestock who are native to the area or something. It was all very inspiring. I didn't take in all the ins and outs of it, but I thought my brother, who's a farmer in Ireland, would have appreciated listening. I'm going to go there again. I take my girls along, and they've got a piano too that nobody was playing, which I think Lily might enjoy. Hope is all. And myself and Erin could sing. Maybe. I was thinking after Christmas I'm going to Ireland, and I thought that I'd bring back here with me my squeeze box and start playing some tunes on that again. It's been a long time, and I used to really love playing the accordion. So I'll do that. And you know what I've got tomorrow? No, Tuesday night is Dream Group. I've joined a Dream Group, and we love it so much that next year, instead of meeting once every 2 weeks, we're going to meet once a week. And it's exciting. I love it. But the thing is, every time we meet, we need to bring a dream that we've remembered. It can be from any time, really, but I like to try and bring a dream that I've recently had. And I've written down two that were fairly profound last week. And I haven't looked hugely, I haven't looked everywhere. Like, I've got a lot of notebooks. But I've looked through a couple and I've not found the dreams, so I need to give some time today to finding where I wrote those dreams. At least I wrote them down. Sometimes I remember dreams and I think, oh, I'll remember that in the morning. So I just go over it a few times in my head and then go back to sleep. And of course, in the morning, most of it has left me. And I would think I'd definitely remember this one because this is really clear and easy to remember. And, I'd have that whole attitude about it. And then come the morning, it's gone. And I might remember, like I did yesterday in conversation with my friend, I remembered he said something about the third eye, and I remembered, oh, I had a dream about the third eye and picking an insect from my third eye with tweezers. And I think my friend was with me, but I don't know if I was picking. I don't know if I was the one doing the picking out of the insect, but I think it was my third eye, it was my forehead. Or if it was he that was picking it out. I could come back to this later on today or another time. I'd say now nature is calling for that lady. You can hear her anguished tones. I know, Maisie. So I let you go. I'm going to cover all of these, don't worry. And thank you. And I hope that you have I hope that you have a really lovely day. And that you take time for yourself and just, we're not often encouraged to take time for ourselves and just rest. I might be standing on my head now for you. And here's Maisie. Maisie, are you going to say hello? She wants to just go. You want to just get out, don't you? Okay. Bye.